I want to switch now quickly. Of course, we've been covering closely the fallout and the push for accountability for workplace safety in Bangladesh after the Rana Plaza factory collapse just a couple months ago at this point that resulted in the deaths of over 1,100 Bangladeshi workers after many, many warnings that the factory that Saur Rana built illegally through his patronage connections was under severe strain and, in fact, had huge cracks and the safety conditions there were not good at all. We know that the Accord for Workplace Safety in Bangladesh has been signed by dozens of multinational companies that purchase clothing that is made in Bangladesh, but only 3 in North America so far, including PVH, the parent company of Calvin Klein, Tommy Hilfiger, and Izod, Sean John now by Diddy, go Diddy, and there was also, of course, well, I'm losing the second one at the moment, but there were 3 companies, and now it seems that the largest retailers that have purchased these clothing are staking out on their own with this sort of alternative kind of voluntary measure because they're worried about the legal liability of the binding accord that was negotiated with many international trade unions. And those people are, of course, namely the largest importers of clothing from Bangladesh that in North America are Wal-Mart and The Gap. And there's an interesting intersection of United States labor politics and international labor politics in that for months now, we've been covering this as well, organizations that are union-backed, like Making Change at Walmart, Our Walmart, sponsored by the Change to Win Coalition and the United Food and Commercial Workers, have been trying to organize Walmart workers to go on these one-day strikes. We know there were a lot of massive actions back in Black Friday, Thanksgiving of 2012. And they organized another one-day strike this year, more recently, this past week, and they sent many of these same striking workers to the Walmart shareholders meeting. And in fact, many of these unions deliberately bought stock in Walmart to help or to connect some of these workers to allow them to attend meetings as shareholders in order to help demonstrate and make their voices heard. And they were joined by one of the leaders of the workers' rights movements in Bangladesh herself. And her name is Alpona Akhtar. Alpona Akhtar is the executive director of the Bangladesh Center for Worker Solidarity. And Alpona Akhtar has an amazing story. When she was from ages 12 to 20, she worked in a Bangladesh sweatshop, earning $6 a month while working 450 hours a month. Now, together, she went to the shareholders meeting with Sumi Abedin, who's a survivor of the Tazreen factory fire in Bangladesh from back in November 2012, and Making Change at Walmart. Other organizations like Some of Us raised $9,000 on Indiegogo to bring them in. So again, there was some innovative fundraising here as well. And they confronted shareholders for the first time with the realities of their situation, and she basically had the chance to take the floor as a result of sort of being part of this shareholder meeting, and I guess being a member of the shareholder community, either by proxy or not. And she said, "Forgive me, but for years, every time there's a tragedy, Walmart officials have made promises to improve the terrible conditions of my country's garment factories, yet the tragedies continue. With all due respect, the time for empty promises is over." She was followed by an Our Walmart worker who essentially said, "Our conditions, we stand in solidarity with these workers in Bangladesh. We are oppressed as well." Folks, we're going to continue following the story. We have to cut to break in just a moment. But the fact of the matter is, this is one movement, the movement for a living wage in the United States by Walmart's retail workers and for basic safety of the workers in the factories from which Walmart purchases their clothing. Shame on Walmart for having blood on their hands here in the United States and abroad. When Take Action News continues, we're going to talk a little bit more about this and, of course, Frank Lautenberg's legacy and a funny eulogy that was delivered by Joe Biden at his funeral.